Happy holiday, folks, and welcome back to our finale, the series finale of Insecure. This is it, as far as we know. Who knows? There could be possibilities of other things, but as far as we know, the series Insecure on HBO. This is the finale, the end, the say all be all of it. Again, happy holidays for those who are celebrating Christmas this week, as we wanted to make sure that we are here to provide you some entertainment, whether you're traveling, whether you are keeping it local, whatever it may be. But we had a job and we were very excited to be here to talk about the finale, the conclusion of Insecure. Now, before we get started, it is my due diligence here to start off this episode by first apologizing to my lovely ladies there for our mishaps from last episode. We got a ton of feedback, and I think it is my job here as the host to ensure that, number one, the ladies feel respected and is given the opportunity to talk, and also to our audience listening as well, to make sure that our entertainment is presentable to them and so that they can enjoy. So definitely want to start off by that. And then also I want to say thank you to all of our fans who've been listening for our reviews since we've been covering the last 3 seasons. We definitely appreciate it. It's been a long, enjoyable ride. Definitely want to give a shout out to Jazz, who was also a part of our review team last season as well. So just want to make sure that we do our part here. And saying thank you to everybody who's been riding with us. And of course, we got tons more content coming. So if you haven't subscribed already, you should do so right now. But folks, let's start it off very short and simple. What is your overall feeling about the finale, the series finale, and the series in general? What is your just overall thoughts? This is it. This is the end that we were all anticipating, and now that we're here, how does it feel? Cheryl, we'll start with you.
Rushed. It was rushed. It was like trying to piece together stories and it was rushed. I guess I can say that I genuinely like the direction that everyone's life took them. Um, their growth, I should say. It was a lot of beautiful parts in this very rushed episode. Well, the season was rushed, so let me just say that. So this very
Yeah.
rushed season.
Is it Game of Thrones good or bad? Final season. That's the martyr of bad when people.
It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. It was probably Game of Thrones bad.
Oh, okay. Hot take.
But much more rushed because at least we got hour-long episodes of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Okay. Amaya, what is your overall thoughts about the finale and overall the series in general?
Well, the series in general, I would give it 4 out of 5 stars. But this last season is definitely like a 2 for me. I just feel like she had so much in the last 2 episodes. With with the previous episodes, you had 8 other episodes to give us all of what we were hoping for. And so much Cheryl. It feels rushed. I still love Issa. I love the Insecure series as a whole, but we deserved better.
Okay. I agree with that.
I deserve better. Whew, that's a hot one right there. Gonna be a lot of comments on that one. Lou, what is your overall thoughts, man?
The worst final season of an HBO show ever made, and the worst finale.
Ooh.
Everything was bad about this episode. Everything was mediocre to bad about the season because everything just unnecessarily felt like it was piled on. So this is easily, and I've seen countless HBO shows. This is the worst final season I've seen, even for the shows that lasted too long. It didn't end as bad as this one did.
Lasted too long.
So I just want to throw around one more other question to that because I thought Lou was about to tackle it, but I'll just throw it out there. What is your overall thoughts about how the format of this episode was, as we kind of went down everybody's birthday for about 2 years? And I think, just quickly to add, the reason I thought that was kind of interesting approach is because we talked about it in 2 reviews ago about how important that conversation they had in the kitchen about what they wanted to do on each other's birthday. So we got a glimpse into the future for 2 years about how they came together on birthdays. Now, I do agree with a lot with a lot that's already been said about this feeling rushed. And was this the happy, satisfying ending that we wanted? I don't think so. But this was a good episode if there was a finale coming after this. So,
No, absolutely.
yeah. But overall, Sherelle, what's your thoughts about how they handled the formatting of this episode with the going down each of the main characters' birthdays?
So for me, I got a little lost like with the first birthday because Tiffany's baby was like much older and she looked much older than one to me. So I was a bit confused. Like when that scene came, when the baby came outside, when they were in Denver and the baby came outside, I was like, that kid looks about 2. So I was a bit confused. So I was like, well, how far along did it jump? Because it doesn't necessarily tell you until like the second year that is 1 year later from the first year. So I got a bit confused. It would have been nice to have some little subtitles to tell me how far along we were with that, because I was a bit confused, especially with that baby being much older. And even in the end scene with Issa, that baby looked about 4. So I was so confused. So y'all let me know y'all thoughts on that one. But I feel like with the jumper, they had to do it that way because to just leave it in like the current times, we wouldn't have got the closure that we wanted. And this was like their best way of giving us like the closure, even though it was like not really closure. So yeah. I don't know if I liked it or disliked it, but it is what it is.
Okay. Amaya?
Well, I mean, I liked it, but it wasn't executed as well as I would have liked it to be, right? I get the idea of the birthday is a really great idea to, for you to pinpoint and hit every character. It was like, okay, cool. But like Sherelle said, it was in some parts where you're like, so where are we now? And like, how did you get here? And so it was it was a lot of confusing. And I think most people, I'm going to have to watch it again in order to fully really take it in, because even just watching it in its first take, I was just like, I need to rewind, right? I need to go back and like, did I write this note down properly? Because I don't know.
Yeah. Lou?
Time jumps are the most unnecessary thing in any television show whenever they do it. It wasn't necessary here. It served nothing for the series to do it. You might as well have stayed on the same time that you were in, completed whatever thought you had for that, and let that be the end. I didn't need to care about you rushing through everyone's future. No. You killed Molly mom off after you literally spent 2 episodes telling us how sick she was. You killed her off in 2 minutes. Hey, Kelly's pregnant. Then we completely forget that Kelly's pregnant. Hey, Tiffany's pregnant again. Guess what? You don't know anything about it because you don't know any backstory that led to that being the risky situation. This is why you don't do time jumps. It's the cheapest, dumbest trick in all television shows. I don't care what network does it. It's stupid and it's unnecessary.
I was gonna say, the only time I ever think it mildly works is when it's a show that's like tactical with war or something of that sort. If you have had us for, I don't know how many years it's been on, but 5 seasons, and the whole attachment to the show is our connections with these characters, we don't want to feel rushed about any part of the growth, especially specifically when the show is about growth. And as much emphasis as they talked about growth, but yet they didn't technically display it. And then, like you said, Sherelle, it was very confusing when you're just like, okay, so the fight happened. We started off the episode in the beginning of the end of last episode, and then some time passed because they had a conversation, said they didn't talk for a while. Well, how long is a while? Because a week and a month and a year are 3 different mindsets to have about this,
Yeah.
It's just, I can't agree more with everything you all are saying. That's where I feel the disjustice is here, is that I can speak for us here, and I could probably speak for a lot of our fan base as well too. We grew with this show because we grew with the characters. It wasn't necessarily just the events of things that was happening. It was the progression and watching these story arcs come to fulfillment. And this quite wasn't it, so I don't know. But let's get into the episode. What I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna go by blocks here. I'm gonna go by the birthdays. I'm just tell you exactly the events that happened on the birthdays. Because like Amaya said, if you don't have notes, I don't even know how you can really even remember specifically some of the things happened without watching this a couple of times. But
Right.
We'll do our best here. But in the beginning, as I said, we are picking up with Nathan and Issa after they left the party. This is where Nathan says that he needs to take a step back. Things are toxic. Things are messy. Issa gets in the house. Lawrence texts, apologizes. Issa basically wants the night to herself. Mirror Issa makes fun of her, but Molly also was there to kind of put things into perspective. What is your thoughts about the fallout from the party? The whole, I guess we can say the whole the whole arc between Issa and Nathan, because essentially, besides one other thing, that's all we got from them. But what's your overall thoughts about the initial start of this episode? Sherelle, we'll start with you on this one.
So, I mean, well, from the first bit of this, it's like you get how Nathan's feeling and him kind of like saying that he's been ignoring his like gut feeling with the whole relationship. And wow, that was like, damn, we do that. So for me, it was like his way of closing off his character, with just like kind of like saying like, this is not going to work for me. This is toxic for me. But what confused me again was like when he came to Issa's birthday, how long had they not talked? And then him just now like apologizing of like what he said to her or trying to like, wipe the slate clean. It's like, how much time went by for him to say, like, I seen your messages, I seen your calls, and like, I haven't talked to you. So it's just like, well, how long was this? So, I mean, I definitely understand why he feels the way that he feels. After that situation, I was just like, I don't know where this is going to go. Like, I just didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't see them together. But this definitely solidified like everything.
Amaya, I want to just tweak the question just a little bit here because Sherelle brought up an interesting point. A lot of Issa's future, all of her outcomes had Nathan being the one with her there. Looks like that's not the case here. So with that in mind, how do you kind of digest this whole conversation between her and Issa, especially some of the word choices he used too, saying this is kind of toxic? I mean, that word kind of goes by the wayside, but that's also a very, very, very critical thing to tell somebody.
I mean, well, we've said it multiple times in the review, right? That she seems all over the place. We don't really feel she's over Lawrence, but Nathan, even when I explained the episode, I'm having this conversation with my sister because she watches we're like, well, had Nathan not said that he loved Issa, I don't think that the series of events would have played out the way that it did. And so I think that him saying this is, based on the first conversation that they had at the bar, right? He's like, you're all over the place. What is it that you want? This is confusing. And in that moment, he should have, and I'm assuming that's like the gut feeling that he was having, which is something that's telling him like, this is not right, bro. Like, just leave it where it is. And I feel like toxic is such a bad choice of a word to use because people use it very wrong most of the time. I feel like he could have chose something else, but it still remains the same, that it's confusing, it's messy, it's emotionally unstable for him. And somebody being in his shoes who's dealt with, he has his situation, it's like he has to do what's best for him. And so I completely 100% agree with his choice to say, like, this isn't it, and I think I would have liked it better had he just said, you know what, I wish you the best and cut it there versus kind of saying, I need time, because you don't really need time. If you're saying you should have trusted your gut the first time around, this is the second go around, my guy, just cut it and just like dead that and let's move forward.
And I do want to add to that, Najee, the fact that when he was like, it's starting to feel like home, like LA is feeling like home, he didn't feel at home with Issa. And I was like, yikes. if somebody told me that, I would be like so
Yeah.
heartbroken.
Yeah.
Like, what have I been doing all this time? Like,
Right.
but it
Yeah.
just kind of like really set the tone of the fact that like he wasn't really like feeling vulnerable or safe in that relationship with her.
Safe. Yeah.
Lou, I want you to kind of not only give your thoughts and reactions to it, but articulate from a guy's perspective, what was Nathan saying to her, or what was he not also saying to her in those moments that he had the conversation with her about his whole feeling about her and the whole situation with the party?
That she was just being messy. I don't think it was anything to read into. He was clear. You're being messy. I can't deal with you. The only thing hidden is him saying, I can't deal with you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So I guess, I mean, we've been back and forth with this one all season. Was Issa and Nathan not together the right decision? Or did she... I mean, how do I even phrase this? Are we happy with the conclusion of Nathan and Issa? How about that? We'll go with that. Are you all happy? You all can just spit it out.
We have to be.
I'm happy for them individually.
You didn't want them together the entire time. We know. Now I don't know. I guess for me, I was just, you can see the hurt in his eyes. I thought it was a really well shot. Much like what Lucas said last episode. Prentice just does a phenomenal job with evoking emotions in some of the smallest scenes, and with them in the car together was a shot. When it's just a shot of her in the car and it kind of offset was a beautiful shot to really dictate. And for me in the beginning of the episode, I thought that was just the end. I was also thinking that we were going to see something super interesting where she wasn't going to ask him for clarification, much like she wanted clarification and closure with Lawrence. I thought she was just going to let it be, but we find out what comes around with that a little bit later on. Now, the first birthday we get is Molly's birthday. This is Molly who, man, I don't even know what to say. I probably got to delete those old reviews when I didn't like Molly, because I love Molly so much.
Welcome to the club.
But she was nervous meeting the family. Tiff made her trip back. At this point, she was still adjusting to Denver. Sorry, Lucas. This is when Desmond is introduced and Kelly is off the market. And at this point now, I mean, we see Molly's mom doing good. She's out and about. I know there was correct me if I'm wrong. I think there was like a vocal issue or recovery when she first got out. It was something.
They skipped that like 3 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Well, then, yeah, what is? But Torian obviously is there as well. So this was the big event. Molly's birthday, meeting the family, and so on. So I just want to ask about this scene, and you know, obviously because we've seen the whole thing now, we all know how this all played out. But at this moment, what was kind of the thoughts about Molly here? This is super unfamiliar territory for her. She changed 10 times. I mean, tell me about that. I don't know about that. I'm on the outside with Torian, but what was the whole situation going on with Issa and Molly behind closed doors here? What was the thoughts going on there? Break it down for us, ladies.
I mean, it's your usual, right? You know, if this is my big birthday and Sherelle is here, she's my best friend, she's here to, you know, settle at my nerves. You know, this is a big deal. She already knows how this is. So Issa knows that this is a big deal for Molly, right? We have not really seen Molly in a successful, healthy, right, long-term relationship. And Torian is still here, and he is impressing us, you know, even more as every moment goes by in the episode. The outfit changes, that's just Molly. She wants to be perfect. She doesn't want to be too sexy, right? Because she's meeting the parents. She don't want to be too plain, because then people will look at her like she's crazy because they know her style and how she is. So she has to find something just right. It's a little bit of the Three Bears and Goldilocks here.
Sherelle?
Yeah.
Also, Sherelle, let me ask a question real quick. Do you feel the whole birthday celebration and meeting of the parents all in one junction for the first time, is that a good decision here?
No. Yeah, I mean it's weird unless it was his idea to plan the birthday, but it wasn't his idea. It was Issa's idea to plan the birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be different if he was like, yeah, I'm going to plan, a dinner for her. And at this dinner, I'm going to invite my parents. But I still don't know that I would want to meet my significant other's parents at my birthday dinner. Like,
Absolutely not. I'm with you on that one, Sherelle.
it's a little weird. But I mean, the outfit changes comes from her like being nervous and trying to be perfect in that moment because she is meeting his parents. And then she also admits that she doesn't celebrate herself. So like this is unfamiliar territory for her as well. So the outfit changes is normal. It's a bit obsessive, but it is what it is. And then, Issa's like, get your shit together. Come on, we gotta go. But this episode made like this whole the fact that like Torian's going to be in her life because like I still was not feeling him in the last episode, but this one warmed me up to him a little bit more. But the wings and the wine did it. But I'm finally accepting the fact that like, okay, this is her dude and he's good for her. So I like it.
Where was Flavor Flav?
That dog probably outside somewhere.
He's somewhere.
He's somewhere.
I think also too, before I give it to Lou, this is also, and like I'm still feeling mildly triggered about the time jump thing because what point did she get engaged here?
Right. We didn't see no proposal.
Because like this is an indication that this could have happened this day. Family's all there for the birthday. Everyone's coming town for it. This is a big deal. So they kind of jumped that. So to you, Lou, as a kind of a two-part question. So this is the first transition, first time jump without actually giving the time jump of it being Molly's birthday. As we don't know how much time has passed. We don't know. Again, we don't know how much time has passed. We don't know what the time is. But then ultimately, the next scene we get is Issa for her birthday. So at this point now, what were you thinking about the direction of where the show was going to go with this episode, knowing that you were seeing huge gaps of events just missing and they're just jumping through things?
That it was going to be bad.
How did they fix this?
They did. You can't. You can't.
Lou is not here for it. Lou is not here for it. He's over it.
Like her time jump to Molly's birthday was the beginning of me knowing the episode was going to be bad because you can't recover from that.
Yeah,
you can't skip parts of the story and think you can recover from it. And here, it couldn't even glean anything from it because I didn't care at that point because I already knew what the direction it was going to be in.
Yeah.
That's I think that's the answer I was fishing for here because I think that may be. That's going to be critical, and that's going to be a response. I just turn it to the audience really quick as we're still going through the episode. What was your thoughts going into the second birthday time jump? Did it keep you interested? Were you engaged? And what were you looking for at this point? Because I think for me, I was kind of like, so we're going to just do this whole merry-go-round of birthdays. And then when they did it twice, I was like, oh, come on now. For real? So, and then they finally put up a happy birthday. Yeah. What? No. The title? No. It should have been.
It should have been. It definitely should have been.
Yeah. Second birthday here. So this, I wrote in my notes. I said, damn, Issa got a birthday too? Also, I was a little confused. I was like, Molly outfit was very similar to what she had on the previous scene. So I was like, did like a day pass? And I was like, are their birthdays near each other? And then I'm like, oh, here we go. So we're just going to go through everyone's birthday. But I do agree with what Lucas said last episode. And I think this is also when I started to realize we're going down this rabbit hole of just being disappointed. Kelly and Issa, brother. Wish we had more of them. For the 5 seconds they had together, we have so many questions. What is up with the two of them? And we still don't know. Why do they have this playful dynamic with each other that's so comfortable that, it's obviously we all got friends like that where we know how far we can go with them, but they never truly explained it to us. Why they're able to be that comfortable with each other tossing a drink down me. Some people can mildly say that's one of the most disrespectful things you could do to
That
somebody.
is just the way that I heard it smack the ground though. I was
Yes.
like, what just happened? Like, yeah, crazy.
Yeah, so but yeah, Issa and Molly, Kelly and Issa brother for Issa's surprise birthday. Issa at this point is single. She's out here looking for birthday dick, but Nathan showed up, and as Sherelle said, this is where we got a little bit of tidbits within the dialogue about the numerous messages that she sent him. The other tidbit of LA starting to feel like home, which we heard from however long ago it was in the previous scene, that Issa was also saying that LA did not feel like home to her.
Yeah, that she's ready to go.
Yeah, but I guess the question is, what do you all think about the Issa and Nathan talk now? Now that they get there and there's kind of like a, hey, it's your birthday, we wanted to do something for you. You know, kind of awkward, but kind of upfront. I don't know. It was kind of a little bit all over the place. Man, I really don't know what to make of it. I'm just unsatisfied. But Lou, we'll start with you. Thoughts about Nathan and Issa conversation at her first surprise birthday.
I don't even know. Felt unnecessary.
Sherelle.
Like he said what he said.
Right. It was like, yeah, okay.
I think this scene was needed to say, okay, like they're done. All right, we're going to move on from here. So that's just what it is. And then she walks back into the party, and she's just kind of like, okay, that's it. And then she meets this other guy, the second guy of the night. So it just was, that was just like their way of just saying like, it's done. You won't see him again. And then like, we're just going to keep moving forward.
Yeah, it was unnecessary. I didn't need it. It just felt, again, you know, when an episode feels rushed, all the pieces in the episode just don't feel coherent, and it doesn't feel like it meshes very well. So in this particular scene, I'm just like, really? Like, just put that shit in the box outside that says leave a comment or something. Get that shit to Molly. Like, don't come here on my birthday. I don't know. I mean, she was very warm and welcoming with it, but I just feel like at this point, how many seasons are we? 5 seasons, and episode 10, Issa is still confused as fuck and needing all this closure. No, I'm not saying confused in that sense, but she's still confused because had that gone a different way, we don't know what the dynamic would have been. I just feel like sometimes she needs to like let it go, right? You don't need that closure. In these situations, it's so messy, it's so like all over the place. To me, it was just like, it's a repeat of Lawrence, right? Even though she sent him multiple messages, she called, right? It's like, so when are we not going to do the same thing? Because the definition of insanity is doing the same exact thing over and over again and hoping for a different outcome. So, I mean, I get it because it's the season finale. You wanted we all wanted closure, but I think they could have did that in the first scene when they opened up the episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the episode had extended time, but for what? Like, even the extra time, you was kind of like, all right, are we going to get something different here? But no, just second rounds of birthdays, which I do like one part of this episode, but we'll talk about it in a second. So now for Tiffanys birthday, the ladies take a trip to Denver. Yeah, Tiffany hates it, no surprise. Issa met somebody. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, this is Emmanuel. I think that's his name. This is the first guy, so this is Emmanuel, I believe. Or was it Nazir? I think it was Emmanuel. Okay, whatever. Keep going.
At guy. That's all I know. Derek said none of his friends come to visit him. Guys suck. I thought that was hilarious. But I'm starting this part off because this, I think, is the question of the episode here. At least something for us to talk about, because Lord. Molly opened up with the question that so Lucas, I mean, you although you're not feeling this episode, you're gonna have to get some meat on this one, because there was a lot of people that agreed with what you said last episode, and there was some that didn't, and I wholeheartedly agree with this idea of Issa allowing or inviting Lawrence to have a conversation with her in that moment. So it's interesting because Molly, it's almost like Molly was in the comments and was basically like, so I can't help but to wonder, what would you have said to Lawrence if Nathan had not interrupted? I think that statement right there puts a lot to bed about people's speculation about a lot of different things. I'll leave it at that. But for you, Lucas, what did you make of Molly asking Issa that? And I'm almost kind of frustrated thinking that I can't even believe that they even rushed this scene because it was a super pivotal. But overall, what was your thoughts about Molly asking about that scene? And what do you possibly think she probably would have said here?
It's not. Well, we all know what she would have said. She would have agreed with him. We know that part. Like
Yeah.
it's not even up for debate at this point. Why did Molly bring it up? I mean, are we talking about the parameters of the show or of the character? For the character, it doesn't make sense for Molly to actually bring it up. So for the show, it only makes sense so you can speed forward through everything. Because as a character, it doesn't make sense for Molly to even bring that up. Not at that point. Not at that point, not at that time, with that time that had passed by. It would have made no sense for her to bring it up. But for the show, she brought it up so they can fast forward and get to the happy ending that they needed to paint.
Time jumped here. I'm guessing here we're got to be at least a year and a half here. And I also think it's interesting.
It can't be a year and a half.
That'll be a year.
A year, yeah. This is whose birthday are we at now?
No, this is
This is Tiffanys' birthday.
This is Tiffanys' birthday. This is not even a year. This is a couple of months.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's shy of a year, probably, actually.
Yeah, because they mentioned it when they had the conversation before she left that for her birthday that they would visit her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a few
Because she had their birthday. So that's the confusing part too, because if Molly's birthday, then Tiffany's birthday, their next birthday,
baby,
Tiffany.
They literally could have just put months on the screen. This would have helped.
Yeah, I was gonna say
this is weird. I feel like
they should have put months on the screen. Absolutely.
Yeah, this is gonna be somebody that's gonna be saying, y'all should know the months. Y'all should have known this. Like we got to do more justice for the show than the show can do for itself.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, it's just a weird scenario. I don't think that it's far-fetched for Molly's character though, only because she's Issa's best friend. And when you know your best friend, women wise, I can't speak for men, but when you know your best friend, I mean, I've been known to ask questions when I see you react a certain way or, to present a certain way. So she sees a noticeable change in Issa's behavior or her demeanor, her posture after looking at the picture. I mean, yeah, I would have asked too, because like at this point, you should either be over it or should be deciding like I'm gonna go get him. So one of the two, and I think that's why Molly asked, is for clarity for herself, because I don't know, maybe Issa asked herself that question, maybe she didn't, but as far as the mirror scene, it doesn't look like she did, but we don't know. We're assuming a lot of time loops.
I don't know. I think it's interesting too, because like Molly was the main one trying to deter her from going back, making those messy decisions. And here she's basically inviting her to say, to open up Pandora's box and saying like, but if you had have had time to talk to him and had him ask the question, what would you have done? I mean, sparking these conversations are only going to spark more thoughts and emotions. And
yeah, I don't know if it was Pandora's box, but I mean, at this point, it's noticeable. It's like, all right, if you're gonna keep doing this, right, at least do it in a direction, or just figure the shit out and then move forward. I think that was really her point. Because here's the thing. I could tell Sherelle all day, this dude is not good for you, don't go back. But if every time he comes around or his name is mentioned, she has this feeling, her posture changes. All right, okay, so at this point, you still love him, right? I'm going to be your friend, and maybe I don't support this 110%, but what is it that you need to move forward and to get the situation done and dealt with? So I think that was what Molly was going for in that moment, in that scene.
But I also feel like too with Molly like being in love, I think like maybe like
Her
her
perspective might have changed.
yeah, like her idea of certain situations might have been different because the way she initiated the conversation was just like she was just genuinely curious. But at the same time, I think when a man is having a baby with somebody else, I'm gonna tell my girlfriends too, like I'm not really sure you should do that. But that doesn't take away, the character of the man. And I don't think that she ever disliked Lawrence
Right.
for her to, like not support Issa with like being with him. But I think the dynamic was just kind of like, yeah, no, that's just like a lot of responsibility. But at the same time, in that moment, hey, I probably would have asked the same question too. You saw the picture, and I'm noticing like your energy change, your body's changing. Like, all right, what's good? Like, what would you have done if Nathan wasn't there? Because that's definitely something that I would ask.
Yeah, it's a valid question.
Yeah.
And then at this point, this is where Molly got the call about her mom passing. So then we go forward to Lawrence's birthday. Lawrence is on FaceTime with his parents, who are definitely Team Condola here.
Well, like a Christian.
Yeah, she wears one nice braid.
One braid. She dresses nice. all of the shade.
But then Issa calls him for his birthday. Now, I went and watched this scene twice here because Issa called and it was an awkward moment of silence because for whatever reason she wanted him to not pick up, but whatever. She verbatim called him because she wanted to take him out. She didn't call him and wish him happy birthday because she didn't even wish him happy birthday until the end. She basically like, all right, well, happy birthday again, but she never really said it the first time. So super awkward call between the two of them. He has plans, which is this chick. Was this the chick from like early in the season, or was this the chick from earlier this season?
What chick from this season?
The one who he was humping in San Francisco? That don't look like her.
I can tell who it was.
Oh,
this
the one.
like
Oh, yeah, it looks like somebody totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yeah. Either way, she called because she wanted to. Do y'all have people who be calling y'all on your birthday who be trying to just slide back into there out of nowhere? You just like.
No, but trying to do for Christmas.
For Christmas, you sliding in my DMs on Jesus' birthday. Wait a minute. But yeah, he had plans, so obviously her plan didn't come to fruition. But then she immediately calls Molly here. But I guess the question is, this was just the start to the beginning here. The start to the end here. Her calling him on his birthday here. What was your mindset? What was your all's reaction to this moment of her calling Lawrence, and what did you think was going to happen? Amira, we'll start with you. Over it. Over it. Build a bridge. Yeah, I was just like, at this point, I saw the banter, the back and forth that was going to happen throughout this episode. And so I kind of just prepared myself for what was going to come. No, it just reeks of what Nathan said, like confusing and, just toxic. And it's just too much. Like, I understand that matters of the heart are tricky, right? I've been there. I understand love can sometimes be very, very confusing or intricate, right? Where it's complex. But in this situation, like, no, you didn't need to, but you did. So here we are. And yeah.
Sherelle?
Child. I don't know, because it's like, it seems like it's just so much time passing by, and it's just like, why do people think like they can just pop in and out of people's lives when it's just like months in between few, it's just too much. And I'm just like, sis, you could have just texted him and said happy birthday and just kept it moving. So she was calling him with the intention of him not being busy so that they can hang out. But then it's still like, if you don't know what your intentions are for the hanging out, then just don't even bother. but I guess we needed to see that he had a date. I don't know. But he hung up that phone and he was like, but wait, and then him and this lady, whoever she was, must be kind of like serious because she calling him baby.
Babe, right. I was like, ew.
You gonna take him
We
out?
don't like you like that.
I don't know. Also, people be trying to up their ante on people's birthdays, so she could have just been a nobody too at this point. So
yeah. Why you take a man that's just like nobody to no birthday dinner? Then it's expensive.
All right, Lou. So if you've been on the receiving end of a situation like this, what did you make of it? I guess sort of say from a guy's perspective of that random person calling you on your birthday, trying to slide back in there one way or another.
Oh, random people don't call me on my birthday because I don't answer the phone. It's unnecessary. Kind of like, but this fit both of them too perfectly because this is what they do. Both of them are toxic people. So when you're two toxic people, you can jump in and out of each other's lives and interrupt what you want and then move forward.
It's all this hope that we had that Issa would get herself together. And here we are, right back to square one. Bamboozled, 10 episodes. All this, she getting better. Man, gonna be a lot of people upset here. Oh, man. All right, so let's talk about it. And even going to this one, I feel, again, I just feel kind of cheated here. And that was Kelly's birthday. And this is where we get introduced to Nasir, who is just,
Issas,
I don't know.
Whatever.
Wasn't he also her boyfriend the one
plus
she
one
to Molly's birthday?
No.
Nah, because he got introduced there. So, no, it's definitely a different person. So.
Yeah, it's a different guy. That's why I was saying that guy was Emmanuel. I believe that was one of the guys that she met at the party. And now Nasir is here for Kelly's birthday.
Yeah. Which, whatever. And Derek and Tip got right to the point. They say, hey, how'd you meet each other? We need some answers. And Derek was like, so how did y'all meet? Because they definitely danced around that question.
Yeah, shout out to Tiffanys in black hair, though. I like that. That was cute.
That was so cute.
Yeah, that was cute. I liked it.
That was different for her.
So this is a big revelation here. Kelly is pregnant. Tiffany is very happy. And this is Kelly and Desmond. Issa, please make this make sense, y'all. What is happening here? Because I could be wrong, but she seemed a little bit bitter about this.
Yeah.
And I wasn't quite understanding why. Because
I can explain.
For sure, please. Because if Tiffany is the mecca of happy here, then what is Issa? Because I was confused about the whole thing. I was like, Derek, what is happening here? But okay, break it down.
All right. So one of the things that Issa's confused about is Kelly saying that she didn't want kids, and now she's pregnant and she's extremely happy about it. So what happens when women say that they don't want kids, and they end up having kids? It's a lot of questions, and it's a lot of very condescending comments made in reference to women who say they don't want kids and end up being pregnant. So you see a little bit of bitterness because, one, you didn't want kids, and now it's the confusion of how did this even happen type of thing. And then she's looking at all of her friends living their lives in love because her career is going well, but her love life is not there. So it's almost like I should be further along in my love life than where I am. Y'all are all surpassing me and I'm still trying to figure it out. So that's where you see the bitterness, and then kind of maybe a little bit of jealousy. I don't want to call it bitterness. Let's call it jealousy. A little bit of jealousy towards it. And why she was kind of confused about the baby thing. And then sitting back, you kind of see she's happy, but then she's not really happy. I don't think she's not happy for Kelly, but she's just not happy with her life.
Lucas, thoughts on that?
Women hate women. And Issa hates Kelly here.
Oh my God.
And what I mean by that is she hates her decision that she made. She hates that she changed her mind about it. Yep. That's what you felt when you felt the jealousy. She hated her right there in that moment. She hated that she made that decision. But to me, you could skip past Kelly's birth. She was pregnant, right? So by the end of it, we see nothing.
Yeah.
Losing Tiffany
Like,
pregnant. What was the point of even bringing it up then?
Can I talk a little bit about the emphasis of her podcast being a very pivotal part of her
growth?
Yeah, her growth. As we know, we talked about it, which we thought we were going to get something sort of battling this mental health struggle that she was displaying, and that manifested to nothing. We got robbed on Kelly. Ridiculously got robbed. Like, from the whole idea of the podcast growing to the whole idea of her battling the mental health signs that we were seeing, to her best friend moving. We didn't see her, and what did that mean for her? Meeting the guy,
being in a relationship, and
to her
going right past it like it meant nothing.
And then the fact that she's now taking a job with Molly.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it's a lot of
missing out.
I'm ready to get through this review. You guys are going to add here.
I mean, well, I would disagree with Sherelle. I will say maybe envious instead of jealous. And then I would say self-judgment, right? Because it's, again, what Sherelle said, like seeing your friends reach a different level and you're still like jumping over barrels on Donkey Kong trying to get up top, you know what I mean? So I think that was a very big part of it. And then also, like Sherelle said, she was upset, or Lucas said she was mad, angry that Kelly changed her mind, right? She made a different decision because she wanted to make a different decision and she didn't. Yep. So you're jealous that somebody had the balls to do something that you wanted to do 3 episodes ago that you are now figuring it out. So shout out to Kelly for making a choice and sticking to it.
Now that I think about it, can somebody tell me how much time has passed in this season? Because there was an earlier time jump that happened as well, too.
It's like 3 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Because how many birthdays for Issa?
2
3,
this
right?
episode.
Oh, 2. Okay,
yeah.
So then, it looks like it's about to be 3 years because we end on Okay, it's still confusing, but okay.
So really quickly, because I feel like this is probably the only other thing I could probably ask about besides the ending here. So Issa and Mirror Issa have the conversation. She talks about it. Mirror Issa basically says, like, everyone's making decisions and going after what they want, and you're not. Then Lawrence calls. She's basically like, don't answer. It's never going to work. Move on. And a whole bunch of other dialogue behind that. But I thought what was interesting this is the last time we saw Mirror Issa here, because she tried to invoke her later and she didn't come out. So what does that mean? Like, did she shut down her subconscious here that was telling her the truth in order for her to achieve the goal of having Lawrence back?
She took control.
Elaborate. I say emphasize. Elaborate a little bit.
So for me, what I've gathered from Mirror Issa is like, she almost is what Issa wants to be. Because if you think about it, she's a lot more confident. She's a lot more like her advice, like what she should, what she shouldn't do. So when you see Issa talking to Lawrence, she's just really talking about like making decisions and owning up to like what you're choosing to do. So I think when she decides to be that person, she doesn't have Mirror Issa anymore, because Mirror Issa can't dictate her choices. So it's almost like the growth that we wanted to see. You see it with her subconscious. Her subconscious is developing because she's now choosing to just make her own choices and her own decisions and dealing with however it may, whatever happens, without overthinking it and just like being intentional.
Okay. I'm gonna give it to you two in a second. I wanna jump a little bit with something because I thought that's what Sherelle said was interesting. So now it's Molly's birthday again. Molly's battling the grieving of her mom's passing. She uses work to kind of create some balance in her life, as we would guess she would do. Kelly's now working there as well. But what's interesting here, this is when Issa and Molly are on the phone. And obviously they're good. They're good for one another when it comes down to these lifely and family things. She's there to support her girl because she knows it's a struggle. But I also thought it was interesting here that while she is talking to her, she also snuck in a text to Lawrence, or immediately snuck in a text with Lawrence, which I don't know why that didn't take to me good there. It's like if you're calling me, checking on me about grieving, but then immediately you go down this path of texting Lawrence, which you and Lawrence aren't really on like together terms because Lawrence is now the text was sent to Lawrence for Lawrence to come check out her new business spot, which obviously some time has passed here. We don't know how much, but we know a significant amount of time has passed because Issa gets to self-reflecting about everything she's been through and with them and how she got to that point, and then this ultimately turns into a kiss. So for me, or I guess the question for me here, to Maya and to Lucas here, what like now where is Issa's mindset here? I'm just totally thrown off here. I'm so confused. I can't make sense of this. Like I really can't. She was hating on her friends one episode. One episode feels like it. One scene, and then she's there to support her girl Molly going through a really difficult time in her life. Then she's texting her ex, and then now they're making out in her new spot. I don't get it, Maya. What is happening here?
We've said it before, Issa is confused. And at this point, she decided to just say, fuck it. She's going to choose her heart, which is what she probably should have done all along, which is, like what Sherelle said, like when she's in the mirror and she's talking to the mirror, Issa, she goes, everybody is on their path. They're leveling up. We see our friends doing big things and we're on our path. And Issa replies, but like, yeah, kind of, right? She's still uncertain. She's very much like in limbo with herself. But what I did find interesting was a conversation that she had with Lawrence, and nobody was doubting me but me, right? And so she's decided like she don't have anything to lose, I guess, at this point. So she just decided to say, like I said, fuck it, listen, Lawrence showed up. That's all I got. You know what I mean? And had nothing been there, my man would have just been like, nah, his new boo was working out. It would have been, can't make it. I got some shit to do. You know what I'm saying? Like at this point, they're both just messy. They're clearly in love with each other, have not been over each other for some time. They've just been going through the motions until we get to this point here. It's kind of frivolous at this point, but it is what it is, and okay, moving on.
He got that text and jumped at it. That's all I know. Lucas, your thoughts here. This is going to be interesting because I think you're going to say something funny.
When two toxic people meet and they decide not to destroy other people's lives, they can get together and text each other like that and meet up, because that's all this is. Other than that, there's nothing else here. Like just two individuals who just, for some odd reason, have no issue with fucking over the other person in any situation that they're in to, hey, come and see my place. Who texts somebody like that out of the blue? That makes no sense. But it makes sense for Issa because she's toxic.
That has to be put to bed now. For anybody that does not think her behavior is toxic, I don't even know what to say. There's been an endless amount of examples this episode, and
I will have to, because we don't know how much time is going to pass in between these things and like what situations have taken place. It's kind of like we're just making the assumption that they haven't talked because we really don't know. We haven't seen anything, but I'm assuming that they've kind of had conversations and they've talked to each other for her to say, hey, come to my spot.
At this point, she calls him for his birthday. Then he calls her when she's with Nasir. And now she's texted him while she's on the phone with Molly, and he comes over. So it's been a lot of back and forth. So we don't know what's played out in between.
Yeah, we don't. I'm not with the assumption that there isn't no conversations in between for her to say, hey, come meet me in my spot. But
right,
I don't know. So this is what we're not seeing.
I don't know how to label this, but she's an opportunist to an extent to always find some way to text him when it has to be some type of like, how do I put this? Like some type of like circumstantial points where she's just like, this is a good time to text him. Because I honestly to God thought she was gonna text him like, oh well, Molly's going through a lot and it's a lot for me. You think we can meet up? Like I swear I thought she was gonna text him.
I thought so too, though.
Like that.
I did think so too.
But I mean, but again, to go back to last episode, again, this is why I still feel like she was just picking for opportunity to be able to have that conversation. However it played out is however it played out. But this is just clear examples that she'll take any given point and moment to say, this seems like a good time to talk to Lawrence. Let's talk about it. And every time they talk,
they both seem like that though. So
yeah.
Right? Because no matter if there's a guy in a ski mask and he opens the door for you, are you gonna go through it? Right? I mean, so at the end of the day, yes, one can open the door, but it's still your choice to walk through it. And they both been opening doors for each other. And guess what? They both been walking through the door. It's a revolving door at this point.
It's definitely a revolving door.
Yeah.
And what's funny to me too is just like, I said it's like a little earlier too, like what gives people the right to just like pop in and out of your life after like months? Like, if you don't talk to me for 2 weeks, don't call me or text me.
Listen, this is what we call zero boundaries, my guy. Okay. You don't got boundaries. If I didn't tell you not to call me, if I didn't block you, if I didn't delete your number, because then I can pick up the phone. Who this? I don't got this number no more. But this is what it means to have boundaries. Neither of them have boundaries in place. Yeah. They feel as though they can both just kind of move in and out of each other's life. They've had people. You got Nasir and old girl that showed up at the house, right? And they're still texting each other and showing up when the other person texts. So it's like, at this point, you already know what you want and you're too afraid. I'm not gonna use the other word to, just man up. You know what I'm saying? Put your big panties on and decide that this is what you're gonna do, and it's gonna be okay. I think a lot of it is dealt with in judgment and fear for themselves because it might not work out, and judgment of what their friends might say about them deciding to go down this path again. So
so much to be said there, so much, but so little time left on our review tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you our Mr. and Mrs. Jackson. Molly has got married. The venue was beautiful. The tribute to the mom was dope. I know everybody was waiting for this. I was waiting. I couldn't wait to this because I feel like this is probably the only part of the episode we was going to actually have some meat to talk about here. I had this conversation some time ago, probably not on a review, but with somebody, and we talked about understanding plus ones at weddings. If you're in the wedding, does that entitle you to have a plus one? And if not, regardless, if you're what qualifies you to have a plus one? Are you dating? Are you married? Whatever it may be. Weddings are expensive. We all know what it is. But I thought it was interesting. We looked around the table here and we saw the ladies. We seen Tiff. We seen Kelly. We seen Issa in an empty seat. And I started to wonder, and I think we all will wonder, well, who is she with? Or would she be with somebody? But I also thought it was interesting too. If you looked at Issa's eyes looking at Molly, she had that same look that she looked at Kelly earlier in this episode to me, where it was kind of like a mild form of disappointment, which for better words of everything said earlier. But in this case, she said she's happy because she's happy because Molly's happy, but she feels like she's losing her girl because of it. And I can live with that. But I thought the other thing here was that Lawrence was here at the wedding. Now, while the wedding and everything was beautiful, while the moment of Issa and Molly talking, I really was the tearjerker that really brought everything into perspective. Which, if you didn't know, which I will always, credit Lou to the statement that the show's always been about Molly and Issa, not Lawrence and Issa. It's always been about the two of them, which that moment solidified that.
Right.
Yeah.
This scene was both good, and the whole wedding thing was both good and both bad because of the time jumps really messed up a lot of things into perspective. We have more questions than answers here, but ultimately for you all, we'll go around here as we close out this review. What was your thoughts about the entire wedding scene? Lawrence being there, Issa and Molly talking, everything, and Torian being the one to get her off the market. Torian did it, y'all. Y'all didn't think he could do it. He did it. The underdog won here. But sure, we'll start with you.
I have no thoughts because I didn't even get a proposal. So I don't have any thoughts, but about your question in reference to who's invited to the wedding. So for me, in case of Issa, I would have expected that she would have, like, Molly would have said, okay, Issa can invite Lawrence. They've been friends in relationship for years, and they're now a couple within a year, right? I think we're skipping a year.
Yeah.
So for me, at my wedding, if y'all have not been together for 2 years or more, you're not engaged or married, he cannot come. You cannot bring somebody that you've only been dating 9 months to my wedding, and I'm paying for it. Absolutely not. And I did think that in that scene, Issa was by herself. I didn't picture Lawrence, because there was like another clip where something happened before they were like at the table and he wasn't there. So I kind of just assumed that she was at the wedding by herself. But I mean, we see that they're in a relationship and it's working. But yeah, you can't come to my wedding. Your plus one cannot come to my wedding if y'all haven't been together more than 2 years. And I've not even met him, because that's weird to me too, because there's a lot of people that go to weddings and you never even met them. So
that's the worst. That's the worst.
It's crazy to me.
People do it all the time.
Yeah, people do all the time.
Really quickly, Maya, before you jump in there, do you like? Also, because we don't know exactly how much time has passed. I mean, do you, especially on a sacred day like a wedding, there's no like dark cloud over Lawrence's head in terms of what he did at Tiffany and Derek's party, as to like, do I kind of want that type of personality at my wedding potentially when he may go off like that? Where did that conversation fall by the wayside here? Because it's like, those are big things, and I know for sure if you show up at my house, you're not coming back. and so,
I mean, but what is Tiffany's husband's name? I don't remember, but
Derek.
They're boys, right? Derek, right? They're boys, and I'm pretty sure somewhere in the midst of the invisibility of this episode, they had a conversation that we didn't get to see. But I think there are levels to it, right? If we've been friends for an umpteen amount of years, and some shit like that pops off, and I know you, right? And I know your personality, I know your demeanor. All right, so this is not normal for you. I'm probably gonna let it slide. As far as the whole wedding situation, my wedding's gonna be hella small anyway, so I don't know everybody that's invited. So I'm okay with whomever is being brought, because I'm probably gonna know them. I think that the way they made that scene, it was purposeful, because they wanted you to think that Issa was alone, right? They wanted you to think that it hadn't worked out, and so they did it on purpose. I don't think that there was any jealousy or enviness with Issa looking at Molly, but I do think there was a bit of sadness, because we all know that when your best friend gets married, the dynamic shifts. No matter how much you want it to be like me calling my girl every single day, that's no longer what I can do. She has a husband, or my male best friend now has a wife, so the dynamic shifts. I think the wedding overall was beautiful. It is I would have expected of Molly and Torian, because apparently both of them are laced in dough. Parents are laced in dough. So I was expecting something nice anyway. I really enjoyed the scene with Issa and Molly, because I'm thinking to myself while watching it, I'm like, if they didn't get this in one shot, then because I felt like it was so genuine, the tears invoked, the emotion invoked, but this is the whole series ending. They have built a friendship. You've seen them plenty of times doing things outside of Insecure. So I think that was a real valid moment for them. And it just also shows you the impactfulness of having a solid friendship, that you can get through things and that person will still hold you down. You can make it through the death of a parent, and a wedding and all these things happening, and you can still be amazing friends and have a solid friendship. So that part for sure was my favorite scene of this entire episode.
All right, this is what I'm gonna do for Lou here, because I feel like I gotta let him get his rant out about this. I'm summing up this last part, and then I want to give everybody thoughts about the episode series again, now that we went through it. So after that, we get to ride down nostalgia lane. Look at all of Issa's previous jobs, all the landmarks of the show, all of the different things that are like, you know,
important.
Different events. Yeah. Issa now living with Lawrence, her birthday, gets a cake from Ja. Molly is in Greece, and Torian's bad at vacation, but I guess he's good at laying the pipe, because now we get back one of the most famous quotes from the show, and that's "broken pussy," which, you know, we knew they had to do that or whatever. But that's it. That's it. That's the 10th episode of the final season. What?
You're missing something.
What am I missing?
Issa's engaged.
Issa's engaged?
We don't know if she's engaged or married. I was definitely thinking about that though, Sherelle.
There's
a ring on her finger.
I didn't even peep that.
It's a ring on her finger.
Well, that didn't make anything better here.
No, it doesn't.
Molly's engagement, neither did Issa. But yeah, she definitely has a ring on her finger. And you can see her kind of like showing it off a little bit.
Yeah. Agreed.
Oh boy. Well, whatever. I didn't peep that. All right, Lou. Completely unfiltered. Your thoughts about this now. This is it. No more Insecure. We're not gonna be back for no more Insecure reviews. We got tons of other content coming, but this is the last one we're gonna do here. So what's your overall intake now of this episode? Yes, you can be completely unfiltered. Put your critic hat on if you must, sir. But talk me through it, man.
Well, it was a pointless episode. The time jumps were stupid. Most of the conversations they attempted to create made no sense, and they didn't flow at all through the entire episode. The wedding stuff was the worst parts of this episode because it was too unrealistic in every approach that they took on attempting to foster conversations, attempt to foster fake narratives of certain people not being there. It was all cheap television tricks that you could see a mile away, and because of it, it just ruined everything for the episode. Again, the whole episode was nothing but just a pointless end to a bad season. It felt like they was just like, well, we got to end it somehow, some way, and this is the way we're going to end it. We're going to hit every keynote that we believe the audience needs for the episode or the series to conclude. So we're going to give you the touching thing between the two best friends at the end. It's not going to make sense. We don't care that it doesn't make sense. We'll just give it to you and hope it garners feels. We're going to give you Issa going through a neighborhood and magically running into every part of her past as she's going to this new conclusion of her life. And it's something utterly pointless and utterly unnecessary, but we're going to give it to you because we're hoping if we wrap this all in a cute little bow, people will like it. That's it.
That's how it always go. You give them the after credit scene, then forget about the whole movie, right?
Yep. Yeah. And that's what this is. It was that wedding scene was the worst scene of this whole entire episode. Everything was foreshadowed. Unless I was slow, I could pick up on everything that was going to happen before it did. Yeah. And the moment I saw it, I said, okay, clearly you know that they're going to shoot this shot in a way to make it seem like she's by herself. There's no way she's by herself. Yeah. This is just confirmation that they're in a relationship. But you saw that coming a mile away. That unnecessary conversation with her and Molly and her helping Molly out of her dress, which damn if I didn't think that would have been the groom's job, not hers. But you know what?
Okay. It's not always the groom's job, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not always the groom's job. It just depends on the person. I've been in spaces like that.
The moment she said, "Let me help you out this dress," oh, then let me get out so Torian can finish the job. That literally means he was around.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would I need you there? But why would I need you there? There would be no reason for her to be there. But again, they wanted to wrap it up and give them all the little touching moments that make people care. But in the end, it was all stupid.
Sherelle, what you got?
I mean, I thought the whole season was what I would call cute. So that's my way of saying, like, it's not great, it's not good, but it was cute. I'm with this finale though, I just feel like it was just too rushed because now it's like, well, what happens? Or like, I guess if Issa did get married or if she is engaged, like where is that like clarification or like where is that like solid stamp that this is what happened? I just feel like it was just like really rushed, but I mean it was cute, and I can move on with my life, you know, knowing now that she's with Lawrence. It didn't work out with Nathan. Molly found the love of her life. She's married. Um, Kelly has a boyfriend because we was talking about like, you know, her not having like a love life in the entire series. Like she's never really had like a boyfriend or a significant other. So we see her having a boyfriend and now she's pregnant and then we don't see the baby. So is she really pregnant or did she lose the baby? We don't know anything. It's just like more questions than answers, but it was cute. It's cute.
I just want to quickly say I don't understand why, again, shows that is built on the audience falling in love with the characters, why would you take that away in the finale? Why would you want to create more questions than answers? This show clearly is a show with substance, and they want people to talk about the different things that are happening with these characters because that's why they have a podcast, an after show, and all these other things because they want the conversation to continue. But yet, if you're going to end the series, why would you just leave us with a plethora of questions here?
Okay.
I give us we'll blame it on COVID just like everybody else. Just COVID. That's it. The Marion it's Amaya, close us out.
Listen, Issa, I love you, but this wasn't it. This whole season, this finale, it wasn't it. It was rushed. If you knew that you were only wanting 5 episodes, you had time to 5 seasons, you had time to prepare for exactly that, 5 seasons. There was no excuse for the way that the final season has ended. And I dare say that Black Twitter is going to be up in arms and she's not going to like what she gets because Insecure was not trending up until last week's episode. So for this to happen now with this week, you know, this is going to be an hour-long episode or however long it's going to be. People are not going to be happy. They wanted more. They fell in love with Insecure. They saw themselves in characters. They saw the growth happening. We deserved better. We really do. You know what I mean? And at this point, I feel like, Nathan, this is not working for me. It's toxic and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Oh boy. It is unfortunate that this show took the route it did with this final episode. I don't think no one, except for folks who are just casual watchers who just here for just the little tidbits of drama, I don't think no one could sit here and be satisfied and say, I'm so happy that Lawrence and Issa got together. That's such a predictable way to go out. It didn't make sense because this season didn't build us to ever believe that it should work. And here we are now that they are potentially engaged and we just skip all of that just to get here. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. To be honest,
all the amazing moments.
I'm okay with them together though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay, right? I'm not like it wasn't like it wasn't my first guess, but like you said, Sherelle, we just missed so many important moments. The engagement is important on both sides. Molly and Issa, Kelly should have been showing at some point in time, right? Like all these things we could have just really went deep in with. Literally, you could have given every character an episode, and that would have been okay. But I mean, if you think about it, Issa, Molly, Kelly, Tiffany, that's 4 episodes for each of them. Then you can go and build on the last 6 because it was 10 episodes, right? So really and truly, so many ways to make this more than what it was. And as people, especially us who watched shows before, Different World, right? Cosby Show, anything that has Black characters, Girlfriends, right? We literally watch shows that we have almost just poured ourselves into and we're glued to the TV to watch and we really want them to win. And so to have a final season like this, it's like, damn, like it's like a breakup and a bad one at that because you're just like, so you're just gonna leave me on red? Like, don't nobody want to be left on red. I want you to respond back and at least tell me I hate you and I don't want to deal with you no more, but you leaving me on red? Like you just That's it. Like
Yeah.
I'm sad for it. But it just is what it is at this point. And I'm like I said, I know for a fact that Black Twitter is gonna go in. It's gonna be all over, and it's a lesson learned because your viewers want more, and we deserve that.
Yeah.
But also to Lucas' point, there will be the folks that are just going to be happy because Lawrence and them are together, and they're going to forget everything else. So
I agree.
And Star scared them away from the Black audience. That's all it is. I'm not even going to say the plan was always 5 seasons. It became 5 seasons when Stars took the Black audience from this show.
Yep.
That's all it was.
With the other shows.
So last thing really quickly, has there been any news about spinoffs? Or we know she has a contract, we know she's putting out different content, but has there been any discussion as to the Insecure universe to do anything else?
So according to her interview on The Breakfast Club, there will be no movie. But as far as a spinoff with the characters and anything of that nature, no. Because I think that was pitched though. No, there's no movie. So somebody was saying, I think there was a question that came in and somebody was asking like, oh, well, why don't you do an Insecure movie since you're wrapping up with season 5? She said there will be no movie. So I don't foresee anything happening with Insecure. I feel like, and with the episode, with the finale, this sad and a season, this like gut wrenching, I don't foresee that happening. But that's, hey, what do I know? I'm just somebody who reviews TV shows right
now. Right now, she just has to go back to square one and attempt to create something that people are going to care about.
Yeah.
Right now, she's on show improve time. Same thing that happened with Shonda Rhimes after a while. You're going to have to show improvement. You're going to have to come out with something good. If you don't come out with something good, that great HBO contract will disappear within a year or two.
Yeah, Shonda killed it with Bridgerton.
That's not even a show she created. It's a show she produced. She still hasn't put out a show she created. She attached her name to a show. HBO is a completely different monster than Netflix. You have to create for HBO, because if you don't, HBO will get rid of you. So again, Insecure was never highly rated enough to deserve a movie. So that was never going to be an option for HBO to ever do an Insecure movie. A spinoff, same thing. Like these ratings for this last season, wow, they are not good. They are up there with Run the World on Stars, and everyone knows how those ratings look. And for Insecure to rate along with that show, that's not a good thing. So just come up with a different show and show that she is creative. That's the goal here, and not touch Insecure anymore, because you managed to kill it in the last season.
Everything killed it.
Yeah, murder by axe.
Well, folks, it's been a pleasure being able to put out reviews for you all for the Insecure series. But I think we done said enough about it. So definitely jump in the comments and let us know your thoughts about tonight's finale and the series in general. And then just obviously stay tuned, because all of these beautiful people here, we got tons more content coming. I can just read down a whole list of things, but why? Because you can just subscribe and you can be along with all the different things that are coming. But again, it's been a pleasure covering Insecure with you all for over the years, and we greatly appreciate it. But thank you so much for tuning in for this one, for better or for worse, how this finale was. But we'll see you around very soon for more reviews, interviews, series, breakdowns, all that good stuff. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Bye, y'all.